Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to see those of you who have joined us online today. Warm welcome to also those of you who will be watching this webinar in a recording. It's my pleasure to welcome you today online at an event that RBS is hosting to tell about international double degree opportunities that we offer to our students. One of our partners is BI Norwegian Business School, which is very highly ranked internationally and is one of our partners to help you to provide international business education to become leaders in technology-based world. With me is Matthew Rosenthal from BI Norwegian Business School, who will begin this webinar and tell about the opportunities that our students have in BI Norwegian Business School. Matthew, thank you for joining, and our virtual stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alina. Yes, hello, everybody. My name is Matthew. I'm part of the international marketing and recruiting team here at BI Norwegian Business School in Oslo. So we're going to talk about a double degree option for you if you decide to study at RBS. I have a presentation, so I will just get that set up. And then please, Alina, just let me know if you cannot see or if my slides do not change. That seems to be a problem in some of these things. But just let me know. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, we can see. Thank you.
See? Okay. Yes, so studying a double degree in Norway. So if you do decide to study at RBS, you have the option to earn 2 degrees, 2 bachelor degrees, which gives you a huge advantage when you do get yourself out there into the working market. So we're talking today about the double degree option you have here in Norway at BI Norwegian Business School. So if you do decide to study at RBS, you will have to take a couple of years, your first couple of years at RBS, and then you come and take 1 year here in Oslo at BI Norwegian Business School. And we have 2 options of degrees for you to study, which we will talk about later on in the presentation. So the question is, why do a double degree? Well, there's a couple of reasons that we're going to touch on. And one of them, and one of the most important ones, is kind of the perspectives that you do gain by deciding to do
Matthew,
a double.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I think you wanted to change your slides because we can still see the title.
Okay, I'll go back to this one then. You can see it says why double degree?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay.
And maybe you could turn on full presenting mode. Like, no, not this one. But you see this little thingy, display settings, and the last, this one.
Yeah, I had that on last time and it wasn't changing for me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Then we can go like this,
yeah.
I guess.
We'll go with this one. Okay. So yeah, why a double degree? The first one is the perspectives that you do gain by studying a double degree, because chances are you're going to be studying internationally and you're going to be exposed to different perspectives, whether that be perspectives from your teachers or perspectives from the people that you're studying with, the students, or additionally, the community that you will be in. And that is a huge advantage for you growing up as a person, molding into a responsible, contributing adult to society, because having those different perspectives gives you an edge on kind of seeing other people's points of views that you may not have been exposed to if you didn't decide to study internationally, or if you didn't decide to pursue a double degree option. Another one of the options is the culture, why you would study a double degree. You are being exposed to different cultures. That is only a benefit moving forward on in your life. Having that experience of learning other people's cultures and understanding where they are coming from, that gives you the different ability to see how they think, why they think like that, and why sometimes those decisions they do make are based on some of their cultural background. Another one, this is a professional and a personal aspect, it's networking. You grow your network internationally whether it be professionally by giving yourself more opportunities to find work outside of maybe your home country, but also you do grow your personal network, which may help you down the road when you are in the working world, because growing your personal network internationally is only going to continue to become more important as we kind of navigate through this globalized world that we are living in. So that being able to have a network expand just by studying is a huge advantage for you. Now, I've talked about advantages. These have all been advantages, but the most important one of a double degree is the competitive advantage you will have over other individuals that do not have the double degree and maybe do not have an international flavor to their studying, their academic background. Because we have found through research that organizations are looking for individuals that do have that international aspect in their studies, because they found that those employees are more well-rounded. They have been exposed to other people that aren't like themselves. They have been exposed to different situations and learned to adapt by doing that and living in a different country outside of their home country. So you are getting that competitive advantage over others by having 2 bachelor degrees on your resume and also having that international flavor to your bachelor studies. So we've talked about why a double degree. Well, the next important thing is why Norway? Why would you choose to come to Norway? It's a good question, and Norway isn't really at the top of a lot of people's lists maybe for traditional study destinations, but we want to change that because Norway does offer people a different perspective and a different kind of knowledge base that they can learn from. And one of the reasons that we say that Norway is a good choice, a good option for people, is that the sustainability aspect of it. Norway as a country is very committed to sustainability, and you have seen that being integrated into all of the curriculum at BI Norwegian Business School. So while you may be studying finance, you are getting a little bit of a sustainable finance aspect sprinkled throughout your coursework, because Norway has seen, and BI Norwegian Business School has seen, that sustainability is a huge issue moving forward in the business world. And they want their students, their graduates, to have that knowledge base moving forward so they can secure work that they are looking forward to. Another aspect of Norway that some people maybe are already know about is the work-life balance. Now, for myself, this is kind of something that's personal to me as well. I grew up in Canada, I studied in Sweden, and now I live and work here in Norway. And I was attracted to Scandinavia because I had heard about the work-life balance aspect of the individuals and the working world here in Norway. And I have to say that it is true. When I worked in Canada, I worked over 45 hours a week, and that was kind of the norm. Whereas here in Norway, the norm is closer to about 32.5 to 35 hours. So you're gaining anywhere from 10 to 15 coming from Canada, as an example, of additional hours to spend with your family, with your friends, pursuing your hobbies and your interests and your passions outside of your working life. Because your working life doesn't define you. It doesn't have to define you. And the Norwegian culture kind of allows for this work-life balance to kind of take place, and it improves your mental health, it improves your physical health. And it's also just kind of nice to be finished work at around 4 o'clock, 3:30 every day, Monday to Friday. And you have the rest of the evening to do all of these things that you want to do, that you feel like you don't have a lot of time to do. And that also extends to study life as well. We've heard from our international students that they are amazed at the amount of study life balance that they are able to achieve. Once 3 o'clock hits on Friday, the students of BI Norwegian Business School, they are out exploring their hobbies and their passions, whatever they want to do. A lot of the time they're outdoors doing hikes, but it is something that is important to kind of keep in mind when you're thinking about why Norway, is that this is something that is known throughout Norway. The people understand it, and the people take advantage of it because it has so many great aspects to you as an individual. And the final one we'll talk about here is just the equality in the culture and the workplace. Norwegian society is very equal in terms of the balance between male and female in the workplace. There is a very healthy paternity leave for fathers of babies, one of the better ones across the world, meaning that new fathers get to spend time with their newborns, which gives the mothers the opportunity to not have to sacrifice their careers in order to have a child. And research has shown that by mothers maintaining their self in the workplace, as opposed to becoming the sole parent of a child, the organizations are seeing an increase of about 10 to 12% in profits, in revenues, because these mothers that previously were having to stop their career are still climbing the ladder, the corporate ladder, getting those promotions, not being passed by other people who are not having children, choosing not to have children. So the equality in the male-female in the workplace is something that is kind of, you learn when you start living here, and potentially if you start working or studying here, you kind of start to see it. And it also extends to BI Norwegian Business School as well, in that domestic students, Norwegian students, they pay the same amount of tuition that international students do as well. So you are not you're on an even ground with the Norwegian students. You do not feel like you are lesser than in terms of your time isn't as important as the Norwegians' time because they don't have to pay. So it is kind of something that equality is kind of all throughout the society here in Norway. BI Norwegian Business School is located in the capital city here in Oslo. We've talked about why Norway, the country, but why Oslo? If you haven't been to Oslo, it's a very vibrant student city. It's affordable for students. It has a ton of parks and a ton of green areas. And a lot of the people here in Oslo love to be outside. They love to go hiking, love to go swimming. In the wintertime, they're skiing all of the time. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Norwegians are outside enjoying what Oslo and the surrounding areas have to offer. On top of that, the public transit is very, very good. You are able to kind of get out into the mountains, into the forests, out to the lakes, up to the ski hills, all through public transit, easily accessible. You hop on a train, maybe you hop on a tram to get where you need to go, but there is that option for people. You do not need a car to get around and enjoy what Oslo has to offer, which is a really big benefit for students because we recognize that students are on a student budget. But saying that, there is student discounts all throughout Oslo because it is such an international student city. You will be running into other students and other people from your home culture, from your home countries. You may even start to hear your native language being spoken throughout the streets of Oslo. So it is a very international environment that is going on around Oslo. But also in saying that, English is spoken very widely. All the Norwegians can speak English very well here. So you do not need to worry about a language barrier of Norwegian. You can get by very well with just knowing English living here in Oslo. I myself do not know Norwegian yet, and I'm able to do everything that I could do back in Canada with no problem. It is not an issue to not speak Norwegian. Why Norway? Why Oslo? Well, now why BI Norwegian Business School? It is the #1 business school here in Norway. So if you are interested in studying business and the double degree option is something that you are interested in, why not do it at the top school, the business school in Norway? We also hold Triple Crown accreditation. Now, what that means is that we're in the top 1% of business schools worldwide. There's about 100 of us in the entire world that have this Triple Crown accreditation. What that Triple Crown accreditation means to you is that the curriculum is constantly reviewed and evaluated and updated to meet the current standards of the business world. That's important for you because employers know that when you come from a Triple Crown accredited school, that you have got probably the most up-to-date knowledge in the field that they are looking for people to hire from, because they know that the Triple Crown accreditation means that the curriculum is assessed and is updated to meet the current trends happening right now. So it makes you relevant when you do get out into the business working world. On top of that, BI Norwegian Business School is an affordable quality business education. We do charge tuition, which we will discuss a little bit later on, but it's just something to know that you are getting a quality business education because of that Triple Crown accreditation, and you are getting it at an affordable price, learning everything in English. Now, the environment at Oslo's campus is quite international. We have over 220 partners like RBS, which means that there's going to be a lot of exchange students coming in and out. And you're also going to get a lot of students coming from all over the world to study here in Oslo, in Norway. And that's really nice because then you have a little bit of an international community that knows kind of what you're going through as an international student and can kind of understand what it takes to kind of get through your studies and kind of make the best of your time studying internationally. It also means that the international environment also means that we have about 30% of our faculty are international. So they also understand where the students are coming from, and they can empathize with what the situations are happening in your life because they are also experiencing it just from a different perspective from the working side. So that is very nice to know that there is an international environment that can kind of welcome you when you do decide to study here at BI Norwegian Business School. So I briefly touched on that there is 2 degree options for students of RBS coming to BI. And here are the 2. So we have the Bachelor of Business Administration, or more commonly referred to as the BBA. That is a very internationally recognized degree around the world. Most people know what a BBA is. They know what the standard of knowledge you are gaining by completing that degree. So that is a very positive, and it gives you an advantage going out into the working world to have that recognizable degree. Now, in that degree, the BBA, there is a specialization that you have to choose. It's either shipping management, finance, or international business. I'll talk about the differences of those coming up. But before we do that, I just wanted to touch on the other bachelor program that we do offer for RBS students in the double degree, and that is the data science for business. Now, the differences between these 2 programs, first of all, the business administration one, you're kind of getting a broad understanding of how businesses do operate. And by choosing one of these specializations, whether it be finance, international business, or shipping management, you're getting more specialized knowledge within one of those specializations, whether it be in financial accounting or whether it be in operational marketing, it doesn't matter. One of those 3 specializations, you will be getting a broad knowledge based off of that. You're starting to learn with a little bit of programming, but you're also getting aspects of data analytics, statistics, and then also just using the common office applications that you will have to use when you start working and when you start to get your first job in your entry-level position. The data science for business one, that one has a little bit more of a programming aspect to it. Data science is very trendy right now in terms of it's very needed everywhere across the business world. So data science, we found that this is something that a program that students are kind of coming to now with the knowledge, with the skills in mathematics and statistics, and they're learning how to kind of take those data analytic points and learning how to kind of make them work for them when it's making business decisions. So you do get a little bit of hard programming knowledge there. You do start to work with a little bit of data visualization, whether it be programs such as Power BI or R or Python. So you are getting exposed to that a little bit, which is very, very handy for getting out into the working world right now. We'll touch a little bit further on the differences between all of the specializations and then data science. So in the BBA factor, like I said, there's 3: finance, international business, and shipping management. In the finance specialization, that one you're looking at automation and digitization. The financial world is changing rapidly with new technological advancements. And so you're going to have to learn, if you want to work in finance, how to adapt your knowledge base to those changing trends. And so that finance specialization is looking at financial markets, learning how to make and assess risk to make better investment decisions from a corporate perspective, but also from a personal investor perspective as well. In the international business specialization, that one is all about globalization. Globalization is a buzzword, but it is the most important part of international business. We now live in a globalized economy where we can get different materials from all over the world, and organizations are having to learn how to do business in different countries. So this is what that specialization looks at. How do we communicate across cultures? How do we negotiate across cultures? And how do we make sure that when we are doing this, we're doing it appropriately and in a way that makes it beneficial for both parties of this trade agreement in the globalized world? The third specialization, that's shipping management. Norway is a well-known country and has a well-known shipping industry history. So by deciding to study that specialization, you're deciding to come to a country that has a successful history of maritime industry. Transport sector in shipping makes up about 90% of trade. So think about that, 90% of the goods that we see all around us right now, whether it be your computer, your desk, wherever you are, your phone, 90% of everything that comes out of what we use on a day-to-day basis has some sort of touch point in shipping. So those supply chains are so vital to the success and the world functioning. So that is an industry that is not going away, as we can see during the pandemic, when that ship got stuck in the canal, the supply chains, they stopped and the prices started to rise because of these supply chains going down. And so shipping is such a huge and important thing to the world around us that when you decide to study that, you're deciding to study something that is going to continue to be relevant as we grow older. And now outside of the BBA, we have the standalone Bachelor of Data Science. Data is everywhere. When you signed up to join this, you probably had some sort of data collected. Data is being collected everywhere you go, on your phone, on your internet. And it's just one of those things that you now need to see how to use data, how to analyze data for your own benefit, but then also for the organization's benefit to make better business decisions. Because data is being collected in a large amount these days, and people don't know what to do with them in order to make better business decisions. So the business industry needs people with that knowledge to be able to analyze that data so that they can succeed in their business. As a student at RBS, you will have to maintain a minimum C average in order to be eligible for the double degree program here at BI Norwegian Business School. And now that is, you have to have that C average across the entire time you're studying at RBS. There is an English requirement as well. It's an IELTS of a 6.0 or a TOEFL of an 80. One thing to remember with this is that if you had to use this to get into RBS, that one will probably be applicable when you do decide to go apply for the double degree. So just to keep that in mind, not to worry that you may have to take it depending on when you originally took the English test, but you do have to prove the English competency in order to study here in Oslo. There is a motivation letter factor as well, and that's kind of where you just say, why do you want to study a double degree? Why is coming to study here in Oslo important for you moving forward as a person, but then also as somebody looking to jumpstart their career? We do ask also for a CV and then a financial plan document that we can provide. But not to get too caught in the details of this, just focus on the minimum C average if this is something that you do see yourself potentially doing as a student of RBS. I touched on the tuition aspect of this at the start of the presentation. So you're looking at about 8,000 euros per year to study the double degree here in BI Norwegian Business School. That is with a 10% discount. So it's actually that 8,000 euros is the discount already applied. So because we are partners with RBS, students from RBS get a 10% discount, and that has already been applied in the tuition on the screen right now, the 8,000 euros. Now, in terms of living expenses in Norway, we do know that there is a stereotype that there is very much truth to, that it is a little bit pricey to live in Oslo. But as a student, you can be comforted to know that as a student, it is not that bad, actually. You're looking at about 12,500 euros per year. That's your housing, that's your food, that's your extracurricular activities, your books as well. This is an estimate that we have made based on previous international students studying here in Oslo and using the student accommodation. So it's not too bad, but we do recognize that it is a little bit pricey. So you've done all this, you've thought Norway, you've thought, okay, Oslo makes sense too. You thought BI Norwegian Business School, but then you're like, well, what is the real benefit? What is the practical benefits for me to study this? So here are the results of our most recent job market survey. And as you can see on the screen, international students who study here at BI Norwegian Business School, they do get work, and they do get work quite quickly within 6 months of graduating. And one thing to point out here, that 80% number of international students, that number was based off of pretty much the peak of the pandemic. And so that number is quite high when you can start to consider that a lot of people were starting to be laid off or lose their jobs, but graduates of BI were getting employment at a very high rate, an 80% rate, international students. So that's a really positive number moving forward. And I'm excited to see what the most recent survey will have to say about the students as we kind of, the world has looked a little bit differently from this previous survey. The other thing about this too, is that the international students actually found work here in Norway. So if you are maybe thinking about, hey, maybe Norway is a place I want to live and work, you can be comforted knowing that at least 60% of the international students did find work and stayed here in Norway. So that's always nice to know, because you never know when you go to study internationally if you're going to end up in that city. Like myself, I studied in Sweden and I ended up in Norway. I wanted to stay in Sweden, but then this opportunity came to me that was too good to pass up. So it is something that you have to consider when you do decide to study internationally. Can you see yourself living and working there? Because you don't know about the personal relationships and the professional network that you're going to build when you do study internationally. And you might not want to leave that because of the opportunities that come from it. Now, finally, some practical information here. International students are guaranteed housing. As long as you apply before the housing deadline, you are guaranteed a place to live here in Oslo, which is a huge plus because it is very difficult to find housing on your own. So I always urge people to take advantage of that because the accommodation is quite good too for students. Yeah, you can decide what you want to live, how you want to live, in terms of, do you want to live with others in a dorm kind of setup, or do you want to have your own bachelor studio, or do you want to have your own 1-bedroom apartment? So there is different options. Obviously, the costs go up, whether in terms of how big your place is, but you also have options throughout the city. Like, where do you want to live? Do you want to live super central in Oslo? You can. Do you want to live closer to the lakes and to the forest? You can. There are different student accommodation options all throughout Oslo, and they're all very accessible to campus and other places as well. So you can get around very easily from all of the student accommodation options offered by BI. There is no application fee to apply. So very, very good to know that you can apply and it is free. There is no cost to do it. So I always urge people, if it is something you're interested in, try to do it because there is no cost to it. And then you have the opportunity to decide if you want to move forward with it once you've been admitted, if you meet the requirements. As an international student, you can work while studying here up to 20 hours per week. And we do find that international students do get part-time jobs at clothing stores, at restaurants, in hotels, in the service industry primarily. But then also others do kind of set up their own work in their desired field. We had somebody working, an international student most recently I spoke to, who decided they wanted to do marketing. So they got a job at a marketing ad agency here in Oslo. So that was kind of nice to see. So there is opportunities for you to work up to 20 hours per week while you are studying full-time here. You will be covered by national health insurance while a full-time student, so that's very nice to know. For the students that are part of the EU, you have to bring your European health card. That's just how you kind of register. For the students that aren't part of the EU, they will be covered once they arrive here in Norway, but we do suggest that everyone gets travel insurance because you're not covered outside of Norway. So you're not covered on your way to Oslo, but or on any of the trips you decide to take outside of Norway if you want to check out Sweden or Denmark close by. So that is just something to keep in mind, but that's the practical information. But that's it for me. I'm here and happy to answer any questions you may have about this. I know that I've spoken to a couple of recent RBS students recently and they have had a pretty good experience so far, all things considering what's going on in the world and how they kind of started and how they had to deal with everything. So hopefully that's not an issue if it's your time to come to BI. But most importantly, if you do decide to go to RBS, just to keep this in mind, because RBS does have this excellent agreement with us here at BI, and we love getting students from RBS because they do perform well, and they're a nice group of students to be around and talk with. So I look forward to maybe potentially talking with you in the future. Thank you, Alina.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining. I really enjoyed your presentation about Norway. It was a great pitch about both the country itself and the university. So thank you so much. Moving on, RBS does not only provide opportunities for international studies in Europe, but we also have some very close partners across the globe. So I'm very pleased to welcome David Murray and Diedre Mariner, who have joined from the USA, from the New York State University at Buffalo, which is really a close partner to RBS. So I'm super excited to hear more about the opportunities you offer for our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alina, and hello, everybody. My name's Dave Murray. Can you hear me okay, Alina? Just want to make sure.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, thank you. So again, my name is Dave Murray. I'm a faculty member at the University of Buffalo School of Management, and I'm joined with my colleague, Diedre Mariner. And we're going to today share with you a little bit about Buffalo, New York, the SUNY system, the University at Buffalo, and our program at the School of Management that we invite you to take a look at in partnership with Riga Business School. And so we're going to start kind of from the high level and share with you, first of all, a little bit about Buffalo itself as a city. So welcome to Buffalo. Buffalo, New York, if you're not familiar with it, is the second largest city in New York State, only to New York City, of course. And we're often referred to as the city of good neighbors. And that's because we take a lot of pride in being friendly and helping our neighbors out. And so, we're very proud of that reputation and that nickname that we've earned. We enjoy 4 seasons of weather. So right now we're in winter, of course, and I see some snow outside, and our springs and summers are just gorgeous as well. And so you'll see some pictures over the next few slides as I share with you a little bit about kind of Buffalo, New York as we start out and give you that tour. We're also part of the Buffalo Niagara region. And so as you can see on the lower right, we are only 20 minutes away from the Niagara Falls, the wonder of the world. And so certainly when you come to Buffalo, that is a place that you will want to visit, possibly multiple times. And we are a border city, so we can see Canada from downtown Buffalo right across the river. Toronto is only a few hours away as well. And so some other things that Buffalo has to offer as a visitor here. We have a really rich cultural and art scene. And so we have over 50 art galleries in Buffalo, New York. In the upper left-hand corner, you see Albright Knox Art Gallery during the summertime. We also have over 20 theater companies that provide plays and musicals. And Shays Buffalo has Broadway shows that come traveling from New York City, whether musicals or plays that you can go visit and see. And there are a tremendous number of outdoor activities as well, both during the wintertime and the summertime. You can see we have skiing available, and that's about an hour and a half south of Buffalo that you can go to. The university actually has a ski club called Schiffsmeisters that a lot of students participate in. Another feature, I guess, if you will say about Buffalo that we love in Buffalo is our food. And so there are over 400 independent restaurants in the Buffalo Niagara region that you probably can't go to them all, but there certainly is something out there for everybody. And some of our famous food that you'll have to try are the buffalo chicken wings. And so when you come here, you can ask people their opinion on where to go for the best chicken wings. Just to whet your appetite a little bit, we also have some buffalo specialties like beef on weck. You'll have to come here to find out what that is. Loganberry, which is a specialized drink kind of out of Buffalo, and sponge candy, which is delicious. Also in Buffalo, we have a lot of fun with our festivals and fairs. And so you can see a couple pictures there of our Erie County Fair. The one in the lower left here is actually the world's largest disco. So if you search for the world's largest disco, that's hosted here in Buffalo, New York in November every year. And so this is a 70s themed dance party that we have here. And we have several festivals throughout the spring and summer and fall. I believe this is a picture of the Taste of Buffalo. So we have a wonderful festival where we get to taste all the samplings from restaurants throughout the Buffalo Niagara region. So again, this is sort of a quick look at what makes Buffalo, Buffalo. We also have several sports teams, if you're interested in sports, that we love and also sometimes break our hearts as well. And so we have in the upper left-hand corner our professional football team, the Buffalo Bills, who had a great run this year. We also have a professional lacrosse team that competes, our hockey team, which is the Buffalo Sabres, and a minor league baseball team. So if sports is your thing and you're more about going to be an observer and a participant or a fan, we have a lot of that available too. So hopefully that gives you a little taste or flavor of kind of what makes Buffalo, Buffalo. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but just to give you an idea of what that's all about. So let's take a look at the University of Buffalo, and then a little bit later we'll dive into the School of Management and the programs available specifically. So you can see on the map here, this is New York State, and Buffalo is on the western end of New York State. New York City is down here on the lower right-hand corner. And so we're about 7-hour drive or so away from New York City, or a 1-hour plane ride. Buffalo is within Erie County, and you can see on this larger map here that the University of Buffalo actually has 3 campuses. 2 of those campuses are in the city of Buffalo, which is denoted by this kind of brownish tan outline. This is the city of Buffalo. So we have our downtown campus, which is where our medical school is. We have our south campus as well, right on the border of Buffalo and Amherst. And we have our north campus, which is where the school management is located. This is in Amherst, New York, right adjacent right to Buffalo, New York as well. And you can see actually a view of the north campus here. And our Jacobs Management Center is right over here, if you can see where my mouse is, right in kind of the center of that picture there. And you can see we have a large campus, over 1,300 acres, over 200 buildings that make up the University of Buffalo. We are within what's called the SUNY system, the State University of New York system. And out of the 64 campuses, we are the largest. We have the largest number of students, the most comprehensive campus. And we're also part of the Association of American Universities, or AAU, which is really an elite group of research universities. And we're proud to be a member of the AAU. Another thing that I guess a point of pride for the University of Buffalo is that we are a research university. And so we have hundreds of millions of dollars of research that's spent annually exploring and inventing things, making discoveries for cures, materials, faster computers, and so on. And so this is a large part of what makes the University of Buffalo a top university. We also have a lot of pride in that we are a very green university. Over the years, we've installed several solar installations, made several design modifications to buildings to make them more energy efficient. And we're in the top 2% of colleges and universities in North America for sustainability, for the gamut of our programs that we have available. We are also internationally renowned, and it's really neat for me being at UB for a number of years. It's like being able to go to the university and visiting the world, because there are people from all over the world here at the University of Buffalo, thousands of students from all over the world, and certainly we welcome you from RBS to come join us as well. And if the professional sport teams aren't enough, we have some wonderful collegiate teams at the University of Buffalo. Our women's and men's basketball teams, our football teams have been very successful as of late. Actually, our women's and men's teams are going for their conference championships in just a few weeks. So we're excited for that. And so that's something as a student here, you can cheer on the UB Bulls, that's our mascot, and our athletes that compete on our behalf. Okay, so that is a little bit about the University of Buffalo, and let's try to dive in a little bit to the School of Management specifically. And I have a short video that I'm going to share with you that describes really what's important to us as the School of Management, really what our values are, and to tell you a little bit more about kind of who we are, right? And so you've heard about Buffalo, the city that we're a part of, but I think it's important for you to hear a little bit about really who we are and what our values are. So this works. So you might have seen a number of terms that kind of describe who we are, what our values are here at the UB School of Management. And you saw things like future, leaders, ambition, tenacity. And my favorite one is community, because I really do believe and feel that the University of Buffalo School of Management is like a family, is like a really wonderful community of students, faculty, and staff. They're really working together and striving together for a variety of goals. And so our goals, which really are what we strive to do as a community, are outlined here. We have faculty thought leaders and interdisciplinary research that's really striving to define the future of management. We also look to make a positive impact on business and society, and we do that through a variety of engagement activities. I'll share a few brief examples with you in just a minute. We also have real world learning, where we bring in companies to the classroom and speakers to the classrooms to really integrate that real world and theoretical learning together. We have leading edge curriculum, and we are always looking for new ways of learning to help develop highly capable leaders. And so again, these values are really what drive our mission and goals here at the School of Management. And our results show. And so I certainly am proud to share our accomplishments and recognition that have been granted to us as the UB School of Management. And they speak for themselves. We are the #1 ranked business school in SUNY, top 10% of AACSB accredited business schools. AACSB is an accrediting body of the top business schools. And so we're proud to have been a longstanding member of AACSB. And this is really only possible through our faculty, our top ranked faculty and programs. And you can see we have 9 faculty that work for us that have received the highest award in teaching across all of SUNY. And so we're very proud of that as well. And so while sharing those rankings are certainly, fun for us, and we're very proud of that. For me personally, seeing our students succeed is really the best measure of success. And I just want to share with you a few examples of that, and also some things that our students are involved in, to give you again a sense of who we are at the School of Management. And so Milad is just one of 8 students nationally in the United States who earned a technical assistantship at FASB, the Financial Accounting Standards Board. This organization establishes financial accounting and reporting standards for US companies and nonprofits. So again, we are, our students are going into these nationally recognized positions, and we're very proud of their success and where they're heading in their careers. We also have students that are involved in different clubs and organizations, and my colleague Deidre will share with you a little more details about this, but just to highlight one of those opportunities, again, more the engagement with impact side of things, is our Therese Kelly Investment Group, which was funded by an alum, and these students manage real money, not fake money, but real money, over $500,000 of investments that they actively manage under faculty advisement. And so it's an incredible opportunity for the students who are involved in this, then where they can launch their careers. In terms of giving back to the community, many of our students, our accounting students, are involved in what's called the VITA program, which is a free tax preparation program for the community. And so we have community members come in, our students walk through the tax preparation process for them, and have brought more than $12 million back to Western New York through this effort in terms of tax returns. So we're really proud of our students and the efforts that they make there. And of course, entrepreneurship is a key focus of what we do in the School of Management. And we're supported through what's called the Blackstone Launchpad at the University of Buffalo. And we have students, entrepreneurs who are working with Launchpad to launch their business ideas, get their startup off the ground. And we have a really great community of entrepreneurs that are striving for success. I mentioned earlier, one of the key things that really excites me most about the University of Buffalo School of Management is this idea of community or family. And when you come to the University of Buffalo, it's not just the family here at UB, but also the extended family, which I refer to as our alumni. And so we have over 44,000 alumni across the world that you can connect with, tap into for questions, for networking, and you really become part of that School of Management family as a graduate of the School of Management, School of Business. And so hopefully this gives you a quick look at kind of the University of Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, and our program broadly. I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague, Deidre Mariner, to speak with you a little more about the details of the program.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Dave, thank you very much. That was a great look at Buffalo and sort of the big picture. I sort of want to dive a little bit more into the details to give you a sense of what we have to offer specifically in the School of Management. The degree that we offer is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. And we have a variety of different areas of specialization that students can sort of elect to pursue. And that's what we call our concentrations. You'll see we have one in data analytics, financial analysis, human resources management, entrepreneurship, international business, management information systems, marketing, and operation and supply chain management. And the number of courses will vary a little bit depending on which concentration that you choose. And students are not limited to doing just one concentration. They can do multiples if that is something that they are interested in. But again, sort of keeping in mind that adding that will add additional coursework. And so that is something that you would work very closely with your academic advisor to make sure that you can fit those courses in the time frame that you are looking to spend at the University at Buffalo. We do, what I will say sort of about the advising in the School of Management is as soon as you are admitted to UB, you would be assigned directly to an academic advisor that would work with you through your entire career at UB. And we do that just literally by the first letter of your last name, by your family name. And they really are there to guide students to make sure that they know what to register for. They work with them on their sort of career goals and how we can sort of shape the curriculum to help you reach those sort of later goals. But I think what's really important with the advising staff too is that we're not just there to look at courses. They're really just a great resource. So even if we don't have the answer, we're the connection basically for you for the entire university. So we know the resources on campus. We can get you involved and connected with different clubs outside of the School of Management organization. Maybe you need some tutoring or some, additional time management help. We have a whole student success center that we work really closely with. So your advisor is really sort of like your launch pad for all things that you might want to do at UB, because it's hard. It's the advantage and the disadvantage is that we are a large school, and that means that there are bounds and bounds of opportunities that are available for students to get involved in, but then sometimes you can just get overwhelmed by the information. So I think the advisor helps you sort of break it down and really look at the things that are the most applicable to what you want and your goals and what you want to get out of your education. And so, UB, again, there are over 300 clubs that UB offers. But then specifically in the School of Management, you can see that we have a club that basically sort of connects you with every different area of specialization and study. So, Dave talked a lot about community, and I think part of being a community is being connected in some of these clubs and professional organizations. So, there's definitely, what I can tell you is number of opportunities to get involved in. It's just up to you to find those, and your academic advisor can help you sort of navigate the wealth of opportunities. And again, as I said, you will work really, really directly with your academic advisor on course, basically just making sure what your plan is. What is your plan? What do you want to get out of it? And again, just really trying to build that community and getting you connected right from day one. We also have a center that started, we launched it in 2015. It's called our Undergraduate Learning and Community Center. And this is really sort of a hub of where students can come together in the undergraduate program. So we do offer some peer and group tutoring for our management-based courses. And then with that have a very strong connection, as I said, to the Student Success Center. So if there are courses outside of the School of Management that students would like some additional assistance in, we do have strong connections with them and trying to make sure that students are sort of getting the best out of their education and their learning. And we always say with tutoring too, it's not to take that student who's not performing, failing a course into the passing level, but really, it can be for students who are doing well, but actually want to do better, want to get more out of the course. And we do offer some group tutoring as well that are sometimes led by our teaching assistants and sometimes student assistants, where the class will get together and prepare for exams and sort of review the homework. So that's also just another opportunity to get together with peers and sort of dive in and learn the material with people that are in your classes and that you're seeing all the time. You see in the upper right corner is a clear touch computer. And so one of the key things in the School of Management is a lot of our classes have group work. And so they're bringing, students together in teams. I mean, that's a key part of, business education and what you learn in the School of Management at UB. And so you'll see there's sort of this clear touch computer that students will rent out if they're working on class projects. And can get together and really review their presentations and have a nice quiet space to be able to do that. And again, Community Hub, there's just, it's just a really cool space to sort of, come together, study, learn, have a quiet atmosphere that's just for School of Management students at UB. So nobody else is at the university is able to use that space. It's really just reserved for our students. So as you can see, a lot of great things about Buffalo, a lot of great things about UB, and then in particular, I think we have so much to offer in the UB School of Management. We pride ourselves in sort of being the small school that is affiliated with the large school. So the School of Management, Dave, again, talked a lot about community and family, and that's sort of what it is. And then we're housed in this big powerhouse that is UB that really just gives you sort of that home family feeling, but just with this vast amount of resources that, some smaller schools just aren't able to provide to students. At the point in time that you decide that you might be interested in, coming to UB to study, your first step would be really applying to the UB International Admissions Office. So our admissions is really handled centrally through that office. And, they're available to answer any questions that you might have. Literally, if you just go on their website, there's also just an email that you can send any questions and read up on the how-tos of applying. And then, as I mentioned, as soon as you would be admitted to the University at Buffalo, you would be connected with the School of Management. Will reach out to you and get you connected with an advisor who would basically look at all of the courses that you had taken and just make sure that sort of where you're at in regards to fitting in with your education at UB. One of the things that I would suggest, UB and RBS has worked really hard to look at your courses and already sort of pre-evaluate them to what they would come in at UB. And so that's all there. Any of those courses we would not need to look at. But if there's a course that you took like sort of outside of that realm, super easy. We would just get a copy of your course outline, your course syllabi, and we would send it to our faculty sort of to review if there were any outliers that you needed to look at. And we do have an articulation system. We call it Taurus. And so if you look on there and you research Riga, you will see all of the current sort of articulations that we have based on the courses that you take at Riga and transfer back into UB. And that is sort of the bigger, the big, and then the little, the Buffalo, UB, and then the School of Management. So we're happy to answer any questions. And I know that most of your staff at the Riga Business School do have my contact information, and they're more than willing to supply my email. Happy to answer any questions that you might have if you don't have any today. So thank you.
Maybe one quick question. What are the requirements for RBS students to go to university at Buffalo?
So, to come in as a transfer student, basically what they're looking at is sort of what would translate to a 2.5 GPA, which somewhere between like a C plus and a B minus average, but just a solid academic record. And then same thing with the School of Management, we would look at all of the courses. Our minimum to get in, the same thing is 2.5. So that aligns with the university.
Okay, thank you. Since I don't really see any other questions at this point, I really wanted to say thank you for devoting your time today. It was a pleasure to meet you and to hear more about the studies. If I were a student at RBS, I would definitely go to the States. I think this is an amazing opportunity for European students because, the States is something totally new for us, and the opportunities that you offered seemed great for young people. So thank you very much for joining and for offering this opportunity to our students.